So very late last night for me here in New Zealand, it was announced that Oumar Sy is not going to be fighting Antonio Tricoli anymore. Instead, he is going to be fighting Tuco Tokkos, who is stepping in on short notice to fight against him this weekend. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty confident that Oumar Sy is going to be able to win this fight. But Tuco Tokkos, also known as George Tokkos, is a guy that I believe is a head coach at Killcliff FC. He definitely does do a lot of training with Brendan Allen. I think Brendan Allen bigs him up quite a lot. I think he might quite think that George Tokkos is quite a good fighter, but to be honest with you, I do think he might struggle quite a bit in this matchup here because Oumar Sy is going to be a lot bigger than him. I know George Tokkos here is listed at 6'4", but he was a little bit shorter than Ming Yang Zhang, who I think is also listed at 6'4" when they fought against each other. The way that George Tokkos does fight is he is mostly a wrestler. I understand that he does have a lot of wins by knockout, but if you do actually watch his fights, for the most part, he is definitely going in there and shooting some takedowns. He had a little bit of a run in Bellator and then went on a pretty decent winning streak. Got the opportunity to potentially sign to the UFC on the road to UFC tournament in a bonus fight, but in that one there, Ming Yang Zhang did knock him out. Ming Yang Zhang's listed at 6'2". Ming Yang Zhang might be a lot taller than I think he is, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't think that George Tokkos was that much taller than him in that fight, or even then I thought that Zhang was actually the taller fighter. And if you do go and watch that fight, it is quite brutal because Zhang does knock him out quite badly, like very badly. The ref was half asleep when it happened, I can tell you that much, because he was still out cold against the cage when they were lifting Ming Yang Zhang's arm to announce him as the victor. But he bounced back from that one after quite a bit of time off, which is for the best, and he's beaten a couple of guys on the regional scene since then. I do like Sy in the fight, though, a lot. I think he's going to be the better striker out of the two for sure. George Tokkos isn't that technical at striking. He's a decent wrestler, but I do think, once again, Sy has that experience against really good competition in KSW. I do think he is going to be able to defend takedowns, keep the fight on the feet, maybe even do some grappling in his own right, because I have been quite impressed by the grappling that I did see against Oumar Sy. I think it was his win against Adam Tomasic where he shot a takedown and then got reversed, but then he reversed it again. So he kind of did show us some pretty decent grappling in that one, and that was a long time ago. He's only going to be getting better. He recently beat a guy that fought him on short notice, but I think that he's going to be able to beat Tuco Tokkos in this one here. I just know him as George Tokkos, to be honest with you, because as long as I've known him by following his fights, he's been George Tokkos, but it looks like he's going by Tuco, which is cool. That was his nickname. It is also interesting just to kind of bring up here, just kind of at the end of the video, the UFC article didn't mention Antonio Tricoli here. They did just say, due to injury, Rodolfo Bellato has been removed from his light heavyweight bout with Oumar Sy. Replacing Bellato will be road to UFC veteran Tuco Tokkos. They didn't mention Tricoli. Is Tricoli cut from the organization? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. This is the Antonio Tricoli story. He fights on the Contender Series, gets that overturned to a no contest because he failed a drug test, and then fights on the regional scene, takes a short notice fight against OSP, pulls out of that, and then 2 years later takes a fight against Oumar Sy on short notice, pulls out of that. Maybe, I don't even know. I think the UFC is probably going to be done with this guy. Even then, he hasn't even fought for 3 years, so who knows how good he was. I did kind of give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt because I did think that his tricky grappling could maybe have given Oumar Sy problems, but I don't know. I think he's going to be able to beat the short notice replacement and just kind of talk about the end. There are a couple more fights announced aside from this one. We do have Amanda Lemos versus Verona Jandiroba. Pretty fun. Hard to predict. I think that Jandiroba's on a pretty decent run at the moment, and she maybe could out-grapple Lemos. And now we have Shayla Nudenbeki versus Malquizal Costa. I think Malquizal Costa should be able to beat Nudenbeki. Nudenbeki's got really bad cardio. He's a decent wrestler, but he's going to gas out, and I think that Costa is a pretty good Muay Thai striker. That's kind of it for the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.